So, when I say Saudi Arabia, what comes to mind? Probably two things, right? Endless desert and just an insane amount of oil wealth. But beneath the surface of this modern kingdom, there's a deep, desperate secret. It's a paradox that has pushed them to try one of the most audacious engineering projects in all of human history. Let's start with a picture. Imagine for a second you own a palace made of solid gold, but you only have 2 sips of water to drink. Now, this isn't some fairy tale. For decades, that's pretty much been the reality for Saudi Arabia, a nation just overflowing with wealth, but constantly on the brink of thirst. And here's the number that really defines this whole struggle. It's 0. That's how many natural, permanent rivers flow through the 13th largest nation on Earth. I mean, it's a geographical fact that's almost impossible to wrap your head around. So how does a modern kingdom even work, let alone build these gleaming cities in the middle of the sand? And that brings us right to the heart of the problem. You've got a kingdom, but you've got no rivers. Before we get to their incredible solution, we really need to understand the true scale of their water crisis. Now, this is where the story gets really interesting. On one side, you've got this global energy superpower, a nation built on oil. On the other, 98% of its land is just scorching, barren desert with almost zero rain. This extreme imbalance between black gold and blue gold is the engine driving this entire incredible story. And this problem has just been spiraling out of control. Let's just look at the capital, Riyadh. Back in 1950, it had around 3 million people. Today, that number has exploded to over 26 million, all while the annual rainfall, well, as you can see, has stayed at basically a trickle. This population bomb put an impossible strain on a water supply that barely existed to begin with. They were running out of time, fast.
So, for a while, they thought they had a secret weapon. For decades, Saudi Arabia tapped into its only hidden water source, these ancient aquifers buried deep beneath the desert. But this was a temporary fix, a solution that had a terrifying expiration date stamped right on it. Now, this wasn't your average groundwater. This was fossil water, and the name really says it all. This is water that took millions of years to build up. Once you use it, it's gone. Forever. Think of it like a battery that you can't recharge. You get one shot, one full charge, and that's it. And boy, did they drain that battery fast. It all started back in the 70s. In this really ambitious move to be self-sufficient with food, they launched a massive project to grow wheat in the desert, powered completely by this ancient water. It worked, but as you can see from this timeline, the cost was catastrophic. By 2016, NASA satellites confirmed what they were all dreading. The aquifers were being drained by 2 trillion liters every single year. And here's the number that just blows my mind. A staggering 85% of that precious, irreplaceable water was being poured into agriculture. They were literally draining their entire life savings to grow wheat in the sand. Realizing they were on a collision course with total disaster, the government had to pull the plug, which left them with this absolutely terrifying question. If they couldn't use their only water source, what on earth were they going to do? The answer they came up with was, well, it was as audacious as it was brilliant. If you can't find a new source of water, you create one. And that brings us to the incredible heart of our story. The plan to engineer a man-made river on a scale the world had never even imagined.
Okay, just let that number sink in for a second. 12,000 kilometers. That is the planned length of this network of massive underground pipelines, an artificial river system designed to carry water across an entire kingdom. And just to put that into perspective for you, the legendary Nile River, the longest natural river on Earth, is just over 6,600 kilometers long. This man-made network is designed to be nearly twice that length. It's a project that literally defies nature. But why go through all the trouble of building it underground? Well, the logic is actually simple, but it's brilliant. In a country where temperatures can hit 50 degrees Celsius, that's about 122 Fahrenheit, an open-air river would be a huge waste. A massive percentage would just evaporate into thin air. By burying the entire river system, they make sure every single precious drop gets to where it needs to go. Okay, so where's all this water actually coming from? The ocean. The process is called desalination. Now, the first method, multi-stage flash. It's kind of the brute force approach. You basically just boil massive, and I mean massive amounts of seawater. You capture the steam, which is pure H2O, and then you cool it back down into fresh, drinkable water. But the real game changer is this, reverse osmosis. This is where the tech gets seriously cool.
Instead of heat, it uses insane amounts of pressure to force seawater through this microscopic filter, a membrane so fine that it allows the tiny water molecules to pass through, but it blocks the bigger salt and mineral particles. And the result? Perfectly pure water, created with incredible efficiency.
So this technological marvel sounds like the perfect answer, right? Unlimited freshwater literally created from the sea. But, and there's always a but, creating something so pure on this kind of massive scale leaves behind a toxic legacy. This incredible solution has created a new and deeply troubling environmental crisis.
And it's a problem that experts are calling desalination's invisible threat. Why? Because for every single liter of fresh water they make, they're left with this super concentrated salty sludge called brine. And what they do with that toxic byproduct is now a major global concern.
All right, let's just look at the sheer scale of this. Every single day, the system cranks out an incredible 9.4 billion liters of fresh water for the kingdom. I mean, that's a truly life-saving amount.
But that same process also produces a staggering 329,000 tons of salt waste. And that's not per year or per month, that's every single day. This super concentrated brine has to go somewhere, and it's being pumped right back into the sea. To help you wrap your head around that number, that's the equivalent weight of over 1,600 blue whales, the largest animal on the planet, being dumped into the ocean daily. The scale of the waste is just as mind-boggling as the project itself.
And the impact? Well, it's devastating. This hot, ultra-salty brine is literally choking marine life. It's creating these dead zones where vibrant coral reefs are just bleached white. It's raising the temperature and the saltiness of the water, disrupting the entire delicate coastal ecosystem, and it threatens the whole food chain, right from the very bottom. So, this story isn't over, not by a long shot. After solving one huge existential crisis, Saudi Arabia is now in a race against time to solve the next one. The one they created themselves. This final chapter is all about the future and how they plan to clean up their own toxic mess.
And you guessed it, they're turning back to technology. One idea is using these deep-sea diffusers to spread the brine over a much larger area just to dilute its harmful effects. But the really exciting idea is something called brine mining, developing ways to actually extract valuable minerals like magnesium and potassium from the waste. Think about that. Turning a dangerous pollutant into a profitable new resource.
And all of this just leaves us with this one massive question. The Saudi Artificial River is an incredible testament to human ingenuity. It's a declaration that with enough money and ambition, technology can seemingly bend the laws of nature. But as they solve one problem only to create another, you have to wonder, is this a sustainable path for the future, or are we simply trading one crisis for the next? The answer to that question, well, it might just define the future for all of us.